Thank you, Deputy President. I want to start off by congratulating the Minister, Sophie Cotsis, for bringing this very, very important piece of legislation to the House, a quintessential Labor piece of legislation, restoring the Industrial Relations Commission to its preeminent role as a clearinghouse for industrial negotiations and disputes and work health and safety prosecutions. And the reality is that those opposite participated in a conscious neutering of the previous commission. And the opposition leader got up here and pretty much admitted that was the case. Because the argument that the opposition leader, Madam Deputy President, just made, and people can go back and check Hansard, is that, look, we needed a wage cap we needed a wage cap to suppress the wages of working people for 12 years in order to fund our infrastructure program. That's what he said. He said, if you don't have a wage cap, you can't fund the infrastructure. Well, fast-breaking news to the opposition leader, Madam Deputy President, we were elected on a platform to redress that imbalance. That is, the reason we are on this side of the House is because working people in New South Wales, nurses, paramedics, teachers, bus drivers, all the people that you didn't want to reward are now being rewarded with a decent wage rise because we've abolished the wage cap, and the reason you instituted the wage cap was to denude the Commission of its capacity to serve as that clearinghouse. Because the reality is, if you're going into a negotiation and you're going down to the Commission, wages and conditions form an integral part of that negotiation, Madam Deputy President. And the idea that you can pretend that because you've still got a Commission in place with a wage cap there that it's still functional means you either don't understand how industrial relations bargaining works, or you purposely wanted to denude the Commission, which is exactly what they did. Now, the other thing they did, Madam Deputy President, was to remove the judicial functions of the Commission. And we saw it in evidence only this week when we were talking, which the opposition, to their credit, backed in. The reason Safe Work has taken 10 years to bring a successful prosecution is because no one had faith in the process of the outsourcing of those judicial functions to the district and Supreme Courts. The reason that it's taken a brave person like Theo Serematidis and the TWU and Safe Work to bring this prosecution is because the reality is, when you have a non-specialised jurisdiction trying to carry out specialised prosecutions like work health and safety, it doesn't work, and that was proven. Over your reign, that was proven. So what we're doing, Madam Deputy President, is carrying out the restoration of those functions, and to boot, and those opposite there's been dismissal of the mutual gains process, which is basically an interest-based bargaining process whereby unions and their members get together with employers and try and work out common ground and clear the decks of 95% of the things that they negotiate out and agree on, and the remainder then is sorted out through the clearinghouse of the Commission. And that actually gives you productivity uplifts, and it stops the disputation. What we're doing here is restoring a functional clearinghouse to actually give unions meaningful access to a bargaining process and a commission they actually have faith in. Because under your system, which you purposely designed, and, to your credit, it was successful in denuding the Commission, and it was successful in removing the ability of unions to get outcomes for their members. We're restoring that ability, and we make no apologies for it. And the legislation is a very, very, very important reform. In fact, the most important reform this Labor government is instituting and will probably institute for a while. 600,000 public sector workers will now have access to a regime, a clearinghouse regime, which is accessible to both unions and employers, and get fair and reasonable outcomes on behalf of their members, both in terms of the Commission's role in being able to genuinely broker wages and conditions negotiations, but also the very important judicial functions which will now be prosecuted under the Commission, given that those judicial functions have been restored. It's a very important bill. I want to thank the Minister in the other House, Sophie Kotsis, for bringing the bill, and I want to thank the Treasurer for advocating so hard, and indeed all our colleagues in the opposition, and especially, of course, the union movement, who have lobbied for years and years and years to reinstate what was a good system and what will be a good system again.
The Honourable Chris Rath.
Thank you.